What's up everyone, David here. Welcome to this behind the scenes video on this 2-day corporate shoot that I'm running here in Seattle. This is a standard training session for a corporate client, 8 round tables with 5 seats each. Hired to record this 2-day session, roughly 6 to 7 hours per day. The trainer's going to be training up front. There's some slides, and we'll have audience participation also. Here's what I brought on this trip. I have my 1615 Air, I have my 1535 Air, and the Peak Design 45 liter for my clothes, and one camera that I'm shooting on. I've also had to pull the Tentacle syncs out because I wanted to record this audio. So obviously I am running Timecode, and here's what I brought. This is basically the camera kit that comes with me on the plane. There's an A7SIII there, 2 Ninja 5s, 70-200. There's 2 sets of wireless Sennheiser AVX mics. These are handhelds for the audience. I have a tripod in here, a smaller one, and that's an FX3 top handle to attach to that camera right there. Up here, there's Sony batteries, Type-C chargers for the cameras so I can run them all day. Some microphones, HDMI cables, cleaning wipes and whatnot. And this is pretty simple. Also the Tentacle syncs go in here. And then here's the big case. This is the one that I check in. And this includes all the lighting and the tripod. So I have a big tripod, carbon fiber video tripod. I have a full kit of the Aperture P60Cs in here. So all 3 of them with their power supplies and soft boxes, grids, and everything that you need to mount it to light stands. I also have 2 light stands under this tripod. These are my favorite super lightweight small light stands. So if you've used cheap, like newer or impact light stands, this is a much better version of that. This is made by Matthews, and it's the same concept, but it's not, it's aluminum too, but it's all metal, so there's no plastic parts on the knobs or the joints or anything, and it's a nuts and bolts configuration. So right here, it's not a rivet, it's literally screws and nuts and bolts. So, you know, and it's also less than 29 inches, so you can fit this in here into this case with the track pack kit, plus have a little bit of extra space over there. So I have 2 of these. The reason I only bring 2 is because I only use 2 for the trainer to basically sandwich the trainer in between 2 that are shining from the sides. And the third one is actually sitting on, there's a QR plate on it, on this mini tripod. This is technically a tabletop tripod, and I only use it for basically doing a color spill, usually behind where the speaker is. Also in here, in this case, are some gloves to move and build all this stuff. I also have a Zoom F6 to record my wireless microphones that are XLR, because the Sennheiser AVX kit comes with XLR direct plugins, so I can just plug it into 2 of these channels. Here's the lighting situation so far. I have one of the P60Cs standing right in that corner with just the softbox. This one is at 3200 Kelvin full blast, and then I have another one. This one has the grid on it because I'm pointing it towards the side of the trainer. But if you're a person sitting at this table, if I didn't have the grid on it, it would blind you a little bit. So I have the grid to kind of control this spill and pretty much only have exposure right here on the trainer itself. Set up the first tripod here, but I have to switch cameras because the camera that I started shooting this BTS on is going to be the one that lives on there. Just a little update on this camera setup here. I got the Ninja 5 loaded on the bottom here because I wanted to be able to monitor with the LUT on. So looking at this setup, I've got the camera looking to the stage, pretty much locked down in manual focus. I can see it here and monitor it with focus peaking. The white balance here is kind of awful, so I know it's hard to see it. It looks significantly better on the Ninja monitor, but there's nothing much I can do about it without correcting it in post. I've got the Tentacle syncs already running and synced. I already have, so I'm mic'd up, that's why it's recording obviously. But I have all the 4 generators running just in case. 1 on the FX6, 2 on the cameras, and 1 backup. And I also have the one mic set up for the trainer. That would be recorder 2 right here. And then I have recorder 1 as a backup.
Been with Sales Gravy for 15 years and have had the blessing and privilege to coach and train, I think, around 30,000 sales professionals. And fortunately or unfortunately for maybe some of you, depending on your view, this is our 3rd time together for many of us. And with me today is David Montestori. He is our videographer and an absolute brilliant in the space. And he is filming this so that future people can take this course without having to take it in person as we onboard new people.
I had to make some changes to the setup. I moved the light from this corner back there, and I don't have sandbags, so I literally just put a case of bottled water on the feet. That is really heavy, and I taped the cable down and raised it as high as I can. Welcome to my office after day 1. I just set up my little laptop situation here after the shoot so I can dump all the footage. I've already pulled the main camera and the Talon's audio recorder. I'm still wearing mine, obviously, and the B cam that I was just running around and getting B-roll and like audience participation and role play stuff. Still on that camera that I'm gonna pull off after I shoot this, obviously. I always dump everything from the cards or the recorders directly to the MacBook SSD. I have a 4TB MacBook. It fits a lot of projects. So I built out the folder structure with the naming conventions, and I put in my folders the way I usually do it, and I separate it usually day 1, day 2, and then I just make folders for camera A, camera B, recorder number 2, recorder number 3, recorder number 1 if I use it, you know, the Zoom F6. And all the footage gets copied into those folders. Before I leave the area, I always make a sync with the Tentacle sync app to make sure that everything is there, and I actually test it in Premiere. That takes probably 2 minutes, so it's not like I'm doing anything crazy. But I want to make sure that everything's dumped correctly. And I also dump directly to 2 SSDs. Checking all timecode and microphones. Welcome to day 2. We're about an hour behind because there was a guest speaker who had a small session that wasn't recorded in the beginning. So we may have to run a little bit longer at the end, but we're gonna start in about 5 minutes. Everything should be good to go. I got lights, camera, microphones, time codes are all connected, and projector and everything is working. This is my Zoom F6 setup. I have a Zoom F6 right there with a Tentacle Sync timecode generator plugged into the timecode port, 2 AVX wireless handheld microphones, and a single boundary mic for just room tone. My handheld camera setup is very simple. This is an A7SIII with a small rig half cage. The small rig half cage has the adapter plate for the FX3 top handle that also has the small rig extension, so it's easy to grip. I'm using the Audio-Technica A7SIII shotgun. This is a short 7-inch shotgun, but you know, it looks pretty compact. It barely extends out from the lens. It doesn't drag too much down on this very flimsy Sony mount. And I can get some close-up audio when somebody's speaking, but they're not holding the mic, or there's not enough time to get a runner to get the mic to that person. I'll just, you know, get pretty close and try to pick up audio with this. I'm mostly handheld with this all day. If they do like a role play situation where it's like 20 minutes of, you know, getting people up here and doing like a back and forth kind of role play, then I'll just put a tripod over there. And so I have my big camera that doesn't move. And then I'll just have this right in the front. So if they're sitting on a chair or something, you know,
they can go through the process. But in that case, they are using the handheld mics, which makes it very easy to have good audio in post. I'll just have to mute all the other ones, the LAVs, and just use the handhelds for the participants. They usually like this a lot. These dynamic training corporate videos are pretty popular, I guess, compared to just a standard one where you have like 1 or 2 cameras that don't move. One is wide shot, one is a close up, and it just rolls the whole way and they just get whatever. Like for me, I'll try to be in the tables and I get the participation when people are talking. I try to point the camera as fast as I can, pick up what they're saying, because there's usually a lot of good sound bites coming out of it. And when they rewatch this training or they use it for new people, they actually have context on, you know, what happened. These trainings are not just talking constantly from the front. There's lots of questions that are being asked, and then situations that they work through as a group. There's roughly 45 people in this training, which is, I guess, quite a lot for what we do. That's why it's a little challenging for me to always be at the right table. We just wrapped up this whole event. Now I just gotta spend the next 4 hours packing up and then be at the airport at 3 a.m. I'm just kidding, but it's pretty close. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.